And the wheels do indeed keep turning. Good morning. I'm Babz Rawls. This is Lovebabz, Lovetalk. It is Friday, and I am talking. Hey, Daniel Reyes.
Hi, how are you?
I have Daniel Reyes from Junta for Progressive Action. Did I say that right?
Yep, that's correct.
All right. And you are new to town.
I am new.
Where
yes.
are you from, Daniel?
I came from Queens, New York.
Oh, shoot. And where are your people from?
Well, I was born in Mexico, but my family is from Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So when you saw this job for Junta for Progressive Action, what did you say? Did you think, oh, I want that job?
Yes, I did actually. So, well, I have two twin boys, and they live here in Connecticut, so that's what brought me to Connecticut.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, then that's sweet.
Yes.
That's sweet. So how long have you been here?
Almost 9 months now.
Oh, man. Are you liking it?
I am. I'm liking it a lot, actually.
Are you living in New Haven proper, or are you on the outskirts?
On the outskirts.
Okay.
Wallingford.
Oh.
Well, that's where the kids are.
All right.
But I spend a lot of time in New Haven.
Wait, how old are your kids?
They just turned 2.
Oh yeah, you got a lot of time to be a mom. I was gonna say if they were like teenagers, you'd be could let they'll grow, they'll turn 18, they'll go off to college, and then you'll jet to New Haven.
No.
So all right,
no, I had them late in life, so I feel more like granddaddy than daddy.
Oh Lord. Listen, I've been a part of that club. Let me tell you, I'm on the other side of that. So all right, so you come to New Haven, I mean, you clearly want to be invested in the work that Junta for Progressive Action does.
Yes.
And so what are they doing?
So, Junta for Progressive Action, it's an amazing story, but it's right now it's the only Latino multi-service agency in the city, in the area, quite frankly. So
which is interesting because there's a huge Latino community here. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there were other organizations that did exist here, but unfortunately, they are no longer in existence. Mm-hmm. So, we're actually celebrating our 50th anniversary year this year. So, we've been around a little while. And, what we've really been focused on is kind of honing in our strategy and making sure that what we're doing is creating sustainable solutions so that our families can really advance forward.
Oh, that's wonderful. So how many people are you serving over there?
I think we're serving about 1,500 folks at this point. It's about 600 or 700 families altogether.
Wow!
So we're seeing quite a few people.
So this current administration with its legislation and stance against immigrants, particularly brown immigrants, does that change what you do? Does that heighten what you do?
I think it doesn't change what we do. I think what it really does is it puts us in a position where we need to be a lot more vocal about how we need to engage with our community in compassionate and empathic ways and make sure that we're getting the message out that we're not going to live in silence, we're not going to live in fear, and we're going to continue to engage in our mission and continue to focus on increasing economic stability and advancement for our families.
Mm-hmm. So do you ever think that, maybe you keep a low profile and nobody will notice that we're Latinos over here?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Because I can understand how organizations could take that tone, particularly if they're funding available or not available, that kind of thing.
That's true. But, I really think it's important that we be even more vocal because it can be very scary for many folks. And I don't want our guests and our neighbors to be living in fear. And I want to make sure that they know that Junta is a haven for them and that they don't need to be worried about anything. Mm-hmm. And really, in New Haven, there's a lot that we do here in the city that is really about welcoming folks who are not from here, like myself, and really kind of making sure that we provide the opportunity for folks to live their life as fully as they want to.
So tell me, what is a typical day like for you over there?
Well, let me tell you what a typical day for the staff looks like, because they're an amazing group of folks. So, people come in for a variety of things. And so also during the week we run our ESL and our GED classes. So, usually Mondays are quite busy days. Fridays are a little bit quieter because it's mostly admin and by appointment only works. So I think it's the day that the staff can take a little bit of a breather as far as with the number of folks coming through. But then they have to worry with all the work that I've got for them. But so folks come in and they come and meet with a case manager, or they get a needs assessment, and we take a look at what's going on. A lot of times what we're really doing now is, rather than kind of doing piecemeal services, so if you come in for a SNAP application, or you come in for rental assistance, or you come in to register for ESL, so rather than just doing the individual thing, what we're doing is a comprehensive needs assessment. So anybody who comes through, we run this calculator that lets us know what kind of services they may be eligible for, or what kind of resources they may be eligible for.
So you get ahead of the game.
Exactly.
Because then you can see, like people will come in and say one thing, but when you do this assessment, some other things might pop up and you can address it.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
And the objective to do that is really to kind of engage with folks in a meaningful way, and to make sure that rather than elongating this journey where they come and they're taking ESL and they're like, oh wow, you guys do this, and oh wow, you do that. Let's share with them the entire complement of services that are available, and then we can really kind of put together a plan that we will work with them on.
Yeah, because I saw that when you all had an open house.
Yes.
And Sarah Lulu invited us to come.
Yeah.
She's on your board.
Yes, she is.
And you've got a great board. You've got a really cool group of folks over there doing this work.
Super excited and energized. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So anyway, we were over there. Oops, that's my phone talking. When these devices, when they hear you talking, they want to talk back. So you've got a kids component over there, after school program.
We have an after school program.
And those children were amazing. They chatted me up. They showed me their artwork. They weren't shy. They were proud. I loved it.
Well, yeah. So that's called the Neighborhood Place, and it's an after school program. And we switched it up this year, and so it's a 2-hour program after school, from 3:30 to 5:30, and the first hour is academic support for the children. So we work with them on their homework, and then they engage in art activities afterward, where they can really, some of the lessons are really designed at channeling your energy and your emotions into your artwork. And so the children work on their little pieces of art, and we save them. And I thought it would be nice to have them at the open house so that folks could see the artwork, and the children could be able to share with the people that are in the community.
And they did.
Their
they were beautiful. And some of them had siblings, and they shared their siblings.
Yes, they did. Well, one of the great things about that program is that we partnered with Arte and the Atwater Senior Center. So we moved the program out of the Junta building into the Senior Center, which really allowed us the ability to increase capacity. So we went up to 50 kids. And we actually got up to almost 70 kids. So,
wow.
And which was great. And we were also able to add on to that a Girl Scouts troop, which really is co-located with the after-school program.
Yes, I saw them too.
Yes. I was really, really excited about that. And it's totally at no cost to the girls that participated.
Really?
And it allowed us to increase our numbers. So, I thought it was a win-win for everybody.
That's pretty good. So how is the Latino community over there in New Haven welcoming you? Have you had a chance to sort of go round?
Yes, I've been making the rounds on radio too. No, it's been amazing. One of the things I really love is just kind of walking around the neighborhoods, and I'm very much a I'll go to you person, because I really want to have the opportunity to get around and get to know New Haven and to get to know the different communities here, and the Latino communities here are really diverse.
They're very diverse.
And Junta is a Latino multi-service agency, so that's a big umbrella. And we really have to be able to make sure that we're nimble and adaptable to the needs of the diverse needs of the communities that we're serving. And some Latinos have been here for generations, and others just recently got here. And so there are many things that really unite us, and they are very common to us. But there are things that are very unique and diverse, and things that we need to be able to celebrate and embrace as well.
Because when you think of Latinos, here most people just think Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
But now we know.
Yes.
There's folks from the Dominican Republic. There's folks from all over the place.
Yeah, we've
Mexico and South America and
Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Ecuador. There's a large Ecuadorian community here.
So and they all have unique needs.
They do,
based on cultural identity and cultural kinds of things.
Yeah, there are some pieces that are very common amongst us, and I do think that one of the things that the thing that really the common thread for all of us is we share this language, and really to be able to kind of access services in a language that and you're comfortable with. And that folks who have been there and understand, you've got to, if you want to be able to kind of maneuver beyond your immediate community, have to learn a little bit of English so that you can really kind of think about moving beyond your small little universe. And I think that what we really do is provide the space for folks to say, I need help with this. Can you help me? And not only are we going to help you, but we're going to do it in a way because we understand very uniquely what that means. And so we're really focused on making sure that we're understanding the nuances that they're experiencing. So
let's shift gears a little bit. Tell me a little bit about who you are and how you grew up.
Sure. So I was born in Mexico, in the state of Coahuila, in Musquis. And
have you been back?
I have not been back.
Okay.
I've been to Puerto Vallarta.
Okay. No. I've been there. It's lovely there.
I love the beaches.
I love the beaches, yes.
And I came to Chicago when I was 6 months old. So, and growing up in the 70s, Chicago was very different. There was the Mexican community there was very much focused on making sure their children had opportunities. So there's this, it's very much the Chicano experience.
Okay.
So, lots of Mexicans that were having children or children that were coming, and the impression was that you need to speak English and only speak English. And so I grew up that way, so it was very much, my parents didn't want us to be discriminated against. They didn't want us to have issues with finding a job or being in school. And so I grew up in this bilingual hybrid house where mom and dad and grandparents spoke Spanish and we responded in English. So that was what that was.
But
like
you
in
didn't
Chicago.
lose the ability to speak Spanish.
No, well, I learned it in school. So,
really?
And then I went to school in Spain for a year when I was in college, and then I dropped myself in Mexico a couple of times, and I figured it all out. But it's unique because in my family there are several people. I have a very large family as well. But some folks speak Spanish and others don't speak any Spanish. So
really,
and it's
but that is a Latino American kind of experience.
It is,
and we understand why that has happened.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think I'm actually very grateful now that the dynamics have changed, where people can embrace being bilingual and can know both languages.
And it's needed, right?
Yes,
like it's
exactly.
needed. We need people who can speak Spanish.
Exactly.
In places, right?
Yeah, I mean, when raising my kids, they're learning Spanish first because they'll learn English plenty in school.
Yeah.
So we speak.
Isn't that an interesting thought that you have that now? Like,
yeah,
that's the flip side of what your parents thought.
Exactly.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, but I think that the language is incredibly important, and it's core to who we are culturally. And,
yeah.
I mean, emotionally. So I really want to make sure that my sons speak Spanish.
Do you plan on bringing them to your home country?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yep, definitely, sure. I love going to Mexico. I just haven't been up in the northern states over there. So I love Mexico City, and I love the beaches in Puerto Vallarta. So
are your parents still alive?
Yeah, my mother is. Yeah,
okay.
And most of my family's still in Chicago. I was the only one that emigrated to New York City like 22 years ago. So
where'd you go to school?
I went to school in the Twin Cities in Minnesota.
In St. Paul. Cold weather. You are just all about it.
Yeah, I was the traveling son. So
the prodigal son.
Yes, I was.
So what did you study?
I studied Spanish literature and secondary education.
Really? So
My,
was the thought to be an educator, a teacher?
yes. I started my professional career as a high school Spanish teacher. And one of the great experiences I had was that not only did I teach Spanish as a foreign language, but I taught Spanish grammar to students that were in the bilingual program. So children who were monolingual Spanish didn't always necessarily know how to read and write. And the district that I was in thought it was important. So while they were learning English, I was also teaching them Spanish grammar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that was pretty progressive.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So how did you get out of teaching?
So I love teaching, and but I really loved working with the students more. So like I ran this Latino youth groups. I would do the bridge programs, which was kind of preparing kids for high school. And so I really kind of found myself working with the students outside of the classroom and working, providing guidance as they navigate systems. And so I really thought, you know what, my heart really isn't in the classroom. It's kind of, but it is in this kind of arena where I'm working to kind of advance, young people forward. And so so what I decided to do was to leave teaching, and I took my first job in the nonprofit sector as the coordinator of a kind of an after school program in Chicago.
Okay.
So,
all right.
But I was also young and and fearless at the time, and I always had wanted to live in New York City. So I eventually just kind of said, you know what, I'm going to New York. So I went to New York, no job, nothing lined up.
And that is fearless. But that's what New York is, though. Yeah. That's what it is.
Exactly. So that's what happened, and started working in a similar program in the city, and then really just a diversity of positions and moving up the ladder, and was for 15 years was with a nonprofit in New York City and was the deputy executive director there. And then, just kind of really felt like, okay, I've been here for 15 years. I think I need to move on. So that's when I decided to make my move. And I took some time off, spent it with my sons. And then I said, you know what, let me look for a job. And when I was actually looking for the job, I was interviewing in New York City. And I realized, wow, I'm not going to be able to see my sons as easily as I am now. And so that's when I decided I'm gonna look for a job in Connecticut.
Okay. Okay. And I mean, do you think this is a good choice?
It is.
I think it's a good choice.
I'm really, really happy.
People saying very wonderful things about you.
Oh, thank you.
They're saying nice things about you. And you've only been here a short time, but people are really energized about your leadership.
Oh, thank you.
So New Haven is a very political town.
Yes.
You're starting to get that flavor, right?
Yes, I'm learning.
And it is a city that is always moving and growing and developing.
Yes.
And a city this size, with all the ills that it has, anybody can jump in at any point and make a huge dent or splash on anything. That's the beauty of this city. You can come in and just jump in and make a real difference anywhere.
I hope so.
So
I hope so.
So now, do you come to Junta with I mean, I know they have a mission, but do you come with a vision all your own that sort of marries to the mission?
Yes. I mean, over the years, I've been working in the sector, and a lot of what I've really thought about is, a lot of what really happens, is we kind of connect people to a benefit or a resource, and we kind of stitch together these patchwork services. And then, and you hope for the best. And, I've really spent a lot of time thinking, is hoping for the best enough? Or are we doing enough? What's going to really move folks across the spectrum? What's going to really make somebody go from, maneuvering this kind of patchwork of systems that are helping you keep your head above water to true advancement and really kind of, following your dream and doing what you want to do. And so I really thought about that. And, when I looked at the services at Junta, a lot of what we have been doing is that. And I think that we really need to kind of take this combination of kind of connecting the services, but also thinking about the larger conversation and how do we engage in a meaningful and sustainable way to get folks to advance forward. And so, really a lot of what I've thought is that, what's the ultimate benefit? And the ultimate benefit is a job that is paying you a living wage and providing you the space and the opportunity to raise your family, and to not be thinking, that this that not to not be living from paycheck to paycheck. And so what I really want to do is to kind of create systems where we're actually doing things simultaneously. Well, we're connecting to services and resources, but we're also laying the groundwork and the foundation so that folks can advance forward and find employment or create their business or do what they want to do that's going to allow them economic stability and to flourish.
So, do you concern yourself with, New Haven is a sanctuary city, whatever that means. It means the different things to different people. But we understand what it means.
Yes.
Is that helpful to you? Is that thoughtful for you? Do you feel at ease knowing that?
I do, and I think that Junta is uniquely poised or positioned to really kind of use this vision and work with folks who are here and may not necessarily have status, but are looking to build their lives here. And so one of the things I'm really focused on for folks who may not necessarily be able to work is entrepreneurship. And how does Junta position itself in a way that can provide the opportunity for somebody who has a dream or who has an idea to engage in their own business program?
That's pretty progressive, because that's talking about economic stability for people.
Yes.
So now, do you work with the city on that? Like, who do you partner with that?
So I'm working with the city. The city has been very supportive. I've been talking to the folks at Collab. I want to see really about, one of the things I'm interested in is it's still in forming in this big head, but but I think I want to see how Junta can position itself or create an umbrella that allows for some kind of a business cooperative, that where the organization can have the licenses and the insurance and all of those kinds of costs that can be prohibitive to small business owners. How do we envelop that and then provide, we're the conduit, basically, the umbrella, and these small business owners, these entrepreneurs, can run their businesses through Junta in some way. So it's something I'm really thinking about, and I proposed it in a couple different ways. And I'm not a 100% expert on this, but I'm willing to learn everything we need to, everything about it, and figuring out how we can make it happen. My objective is to make sure that what we're doing is creating these opportunities that are really wins for our families.
I think it makes sense to think about entrepreneurship, right? Because that's a growing sector of the population.
Yeah.
People growing their own businesses, starting their own businesses.
Yeah.
Particularly as the work environment is quite tenuous.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no more working somewhere for 30 years.
Exactly.
The people change jobs every 2, 3, 4 years.
Exactly. And the idea of what work is changing as well.
Yeah.
Like the idea that you go to an office 9 to 5 is, that's what you do. That's evaporating, and the dynamics are changing. And I think that it provides an opportunity for folks to really think differently, and it provides us an opportunity to engage in a conversation with our families.
Do you find yourself, Daniel, do you have to find yourself combating stereotypes and prejudices about what the Latino community looks like? Like, when you walk into a space, no one knows until you open your mouth
yeah,
that you are Spanish speaking.
Yes.
Or Mexican.
Yes. I think that it does occur. I don't find it occurs as much here. But I have had moments where the thing is, I think that for myself, if I have to kind of bear the brunt of that in order to make sure that it isn't kind of passed on to the families that we're serving, then I would wholeheartedly do that. And it's not been uncommon, especially working in management as a Latino man. Most nonprofits are not. There's a significant absence of color in the administrations of most big, nonprofits, and so, being, in my other organization, which is one of the things that drew me to Junta, is that it was run by Latinos, but the other administration, I was the person of color, and that's a little bit of a stretch, but I would get put to if the Spanish media wanted something, you talk to them, or if some or if you're dealing with a big donor and they ask me how my organization helped me get my leg up, basically presuming that I had been a recipient of services there. It's a little insulting, but for me, it's just kind of like, well, if I have to kind of do that in order to kind of facilitate the relationship, then I'm okay with doing that, because a lot of people help me get me where I'm at, and if I can do that myself, then I'm going to do that without any regrets or without any pause.
So is there any sort of thing that you'd want Junta to be doing? I know we talked about the economic development piece, but is there some other sort of, now that you've been there for 9 months, is there some other desire that you're like, oh, you know what, at some point we should add X?
Well, the wonderful thing is that we're a multi-service agency. So, I want to make sure we're not stretched too thin and we're doing so many different things that we're not doing anything well. But I do want to see us really think more about senior services and how we can really do that in an effective way. I think that in general, there's an aging population, and I'd like to see Junta really kind of be at the in front of that. The other thing is our youth leadership. We're actually going to be incubating next school year, but I really want to see a more expansive and encompassing youth leadership development program, and so I know a lot, but I'm no longer on that spectrum of youth, so I'm
neither am I.
I'm hoping to find that young, talented person who's going to really kind of take the ideas that I've been thinking about and really go with them. And that's actually one of the great things about being at the helm of an organization. You can have these ideas, but they don't have to sit in your head, or they don't have to be done by you. You can actually engage in that knowledge transfer, and then really kind of see the nugget you had get turned into something incredibly amazing. So do y'all have a program for the LGBTQ?
Yes.
So we do not have per se specific. Our immigration services, everything is welcoming at Junta, and we come to multiple tables. So we have been in open conversation with the LGBTQ community.
I bring it up because there seems to be. People are really sort of embracing young people who are identifying however way they want to identify, and making space for them. And I know in Black and brown communities, those spaces are damn near non-existent.
Yes. Well, we are partnering with the Pride Center, and they are working on expanding youth programming. And I'm trying to include in our youth leadership development program a cohort for LGBTQ youth of color, which I think is incredibly important. I'm looking at other ways in which we can really kind of let folks know that Junta is a welcoming space, and let folks know that if they want to have programming in our house, because the house is iconic, and I love it. It is.
It is. It's a beautiful space.
It is, and I like to create this bi-directional flow. So, and I'm really working to make sure that people know that the house is there, and if you have a space need and you want to use the space, let's talk about it. So that's one thing. I have been approached by some folks to maybe create something that is really for adults of Latino adults. It's hard for a lot of folks to really kind of be out and open about their sexuality. Especially if you're an immigrant and you're from it's forbidden in your home country. So I really think it's important, and I'm open to it, and I'm working hard to kind of figure out what that looks like. But I don't want to kind of come to New Haven and say, hey, this is what it's going to be.
That's
so
a good
I've
way
actually
to be.
been very reflective on it, and I've been talking to folks, and I've been understanding how things have been operating here, so that I can get a better sense of it, and really kind of dropping the little seeds, letting folks know we're open and welcoming to that, and if anybody wants to collaborate with us, that would be great, because I'm not going to pretend to be some kind of expert in it, but I do think it's a multi-service agency, focused on all of the Latino communities of the Greater New Haven area, and that includes LGBTQ plus Latinos.
So let's change gears. You've got to keep the money flowing.
Yes.
The doors have to stay open some kind of way.
Yes.
So
yes.
what part of your day is that commitment?
Probably about 90% of the day, and then I find I crunch everything else in 10%. No. Fundraising is incredibly important. We're doing a lot of grant writing. We have some we have a state contract, and we have some city monies that the city has really been given to us, and that's really in our Junta Reyes department, which is our community economic advancement department. But a lot of it is really kind of getting donations from folks. We have a fundraiser coming up on Thursday, June 20th.
I'm so looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Is that the salsa one?
The Summer Salsa Fundraiser. Yes. It's going to be at Bergamo's Community Theater, 5 to 9 o'clock. It's a $25 ticket. And the ticket is going to get you a concert from Carlos y su momento musical, lo siento. And then we're actually contracting with some of our community entrepreneurs to provide the catering.
Oh, great.
There'll be a cash bar, so it should be really nice.
Oh, that's going to be heavy and hot.
Yeah. Yes. We also, you can give online at our website, but one of the things that I'm really trying to get folks to be interested in is our Compañeras campaign, which is our sustaining supporter circle. So that's really folks who believe in our mission and want to invest in us can sign up to do monthly donations. A small monthly donation, $10, $15 a month, can go a long way for us. And that particular sustaining supporter circle is a more of an intimate circle of folks that Junta really engages in a more active way. So we invite them to our community events and workshops, and we share with them, small, our success stories. And then once a year, we're going to have a compañeros appreciation reception, which it should be nice. It's a new thing for Junta, and it's a new thing for me as well. But I really think it might be a nice way to really kind of engage folks in a more meaningful way, because I don't want to just be out saying, please give me money. I want things to be a relationship, and I want us to engage in this together, and I want us to work together towards manifesting the mission of Junta. So that's one of the things we're working on. And of course, we have our 50th anniversary gala coming up.
Oh, when is that?
Yep. Save the date, everybody. September 21st.
Oh, I'm so there.
Yes.
I went to the gala last year
when they introduced me.
Yes, it was fun.
It was very fun.
It was very fun. The music was right on point.
Yeah. So. Well, we're gonna jazz it up a little bit this year on the 50th year.
All right, let me go find me an outfit right now.
Be ready for surprises. It's gonna be on a Saturday.
Oh, see that is
we mean party.
Oh. Get my tequila right.
Well, this is probably rum and cokes.
Oh, this is going to be great.
Yes.
Well, that's great. I think 50 years is a long time, and it ought to be celebrated.
It is, and it's great. Well, actually, one of the things that's going to be really unique about this year and going forward is we've commissioned 4 leadership awards that are really highlighting folks who have been invested in the advancement of Latino communities across Connecticut. And each of these awards is going to be named after the 4 principal founders of Junta for Progressive Action.
Nice.
So
nice.
It'll be really nice. I'm really excited about it.
Wow. So are there other Latino juntas around, Junta groups around Connecticut?
Well, yes, there are.
Or it's some different kind of capacity?
There are several that do kind of multi services. So one of the honorees that we're going to honor is a young executive director. She is the executive director of Spanish Community of Wallingford. She's got a very interesting story. Her name is Adriana Rodriguez, and she's going to get our Trailblazer Award, which is kind of an emerging leader award. And she basically grew up in SCOW, and which is Spanish Community of Wallingford, and has now risen to its executive director at a very young age. So very, very exciting. But
that's
SCOW is there. And I know that there's Casa Boricua in Meriden, Casa San Jose in Hartford. So there's a couple.
Okay.
There's a couple. No, there's not an absolute absence. And I do think that, we're the oldest, though. So I will say that. I'm going to hold on to that one.
Yeah. Oh. Well, New Haven is a bigger city than those places.
Yes.
So I would imagine that we would be first in hosting this kind of organization.
Exactly.
So but you have to be thinking about money in these times.
Yes, we are definitely concerned about money, you know.
Because people are like, I mean, there's this real attack on immigrants and anybody that serves immigrants, whether people are here, here and have immigrated here under the whatever they consider the right channels.
Yeah.
And the folks who have come here who are have tenuous status. So there is a real assault on this community.
Well, you know, and I think that's why it's important for Junta to really get the information out and really and I do think that's why we have to be more vocal. Because, you know, these, you know, folks are not just kind of taking from systems, you know. All of these folks that are here recently arrived are working and they're buying and they're, you know, they're fueling local economies. And, you know, it's not as though, you know, folks are just sitting here passively receiving things, you know, and folks are really looking for opportunities to live their lives fully. And I think that we need to really understand that. And a lot of what we're doing at Junta is really kind of making the case for why, you know, having this diversity within our populations is good for us. It's good, not just socially, but economically. And it allows us as communities to grow and evolve. And I think that we need to really recognize it and appreciate it and embrace it.
So what is your biggest dream for Junta?
That we stop worrying about money. No, no.
That's my dream too. For me.
No. Yes. You know, I really want to make sure that Junta is clearly seen as the beacon for Latino communities across the state of Connecticut. And I really want to make sure that Junta is the leader in connecting all of these organizations together so that really we are working in concert as opposed to in competition of each other.
And so how do you take care of yourself in all of this work? Because I ask this question to everybody because Black and brown people will extend themselves to the breaking point.
Yes.
And we're not very good at self-care.
Well, I will tell you, one of the best things I do is I go home to my two boys. So I do love seeing them and spending time with them. I will find the energy. But other than that, I go to the gym when I can. So I try very hard. So, but I will tell you, running is one of the best things for me. I kind of can decompress.
Okay.
I sort through all of my thoughts. I process the day. So, you know, definitely it's one of the best ways to really kind of let the entire day just kind of release. So, so that's what I do.
So, last question before I cut you loose.
Okay.
Pizza. Have you had any of this famous Connecticut New Haven pizza?
All right. Nobody hate me, but no, I have not.
Okay, Daniel, you gotta get on that. You gotta get in on the fight. You gotta get in. You gotta weigh in.
I have had amazing Puerto Rican, Dominican, and Mexican food in New Haven.
That's a good answer.
I have had that. So,
but you're gonna have to take a side on these pizza wars.
I'm going to. Yeah. When I get interviewed, somebody asked me in the interview, New Haven or New York pizza. I said Chicago.
Oh, you know we frown on Chicago pizza here.
No.
Oh,
I thought we could be friends.
Oh, we frown because you know Chicago pizza is really casserole.
How dare you?
I know. Well, you know, thin is in.
I know.
You know, if you've been in New York, you know thin pizza.
I know.
So New York has great thin pizza, but New Haven is the master and perfecter of pizza.
Well, I'm gonna have to have it.
I know you have to have it. Listen, you got a few more months. You're still in the honeymoon phase.
Yes.
So people will grace you. But after year one is up, people are going to ask you to take a pizza. And that is a big deal in this town.
Well, I'm sure it's going to probably have to be New Haven because I'm not the biggest fan of New York pizza.
Yay! See, now you're already winning, friends. So. Oh, my gosh. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
It's absolutely
thank
pleasure.
you for having me.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you do and coming to the events.
Yes.
And I enjoyed the open house. The open house was great. I bought earrings and
I
did. I brought a bunch of stuff. I enjoyed those ladies.
That's going to be an annual event because that was an economic opportunity. We opened up the back lot and let all of those community entrepreneurs come and sell their wares.
And now that they know how good it could be, people will broaden what they bring.
And, next year, my dream is that whole parking lot's going to be full of community entrepreneurs.
It was great. I brought a lot.
Yeah, I spend a lot of money too.
I mean, I really enjoy it. Like sometimes you buy stuff because you're like, oh, it's a nice thing to do. But I really, 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 really love the pieces that I bought.
Oh, that's
and
great.
have been wearing them.
Oh,
so
I'm grateful.
So that's a really nice thing. So, but yeah. Well, much success to you, Daniel.
Thank you.
I'll see you at Salsa Night.
Yes.
And I'll see you at the 50th anniversary and in between.
Bring your dancing shoes for both.
Oh, I'm going to be right in there with them. So, and thank you to Sarah Lulu for connecting us and making this happen. Yeah, she is. She's like Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
She's like
just
6 degrees of separation. It's like worldwide. Like, she knows everybody.
Exactly.
So I'm in the Sarah Lulu universe, and I'm glad of it. So thank you so much.
All right.
Much success to you. All right, Harry. Thank you. I'm going to play us out.